Right. Hey, we're back. I have one tooth less, but we're back. Sorry about last week, whoever's on. Right. Whew, just give it a couple of minutes for people to come on. I'm very excited about this episode today. Hey, Amy. Hey, Louisa. Oh. How's everyone doing? I've just had one of them ice cold showers because of that bloke, to see if it stems my nervous system. Hi Fiona, hi Tracy, hi Claire. I am feeling a lot better, thanks. But it's all good. I've got to be a man and be strong. Right then, so let's get on with it. This is what we're doing today. A different way of being social. An introduction to social constructionism. Now, here's one of the things that I want to start with. Where are we? Here we go. Right. Just giving it a little few more minutes. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Hope everyone's all right. A different way of being social. So some of you might know about social constructionism. I am no expert. However, I kind of know enough about it to get excited about it and share with you guys today. So here we go. Social constructionism. Right. It's really hard to explain, but I think I've got it right. So first thing I want you to think about is it is not the view that nothing is real. You know how people say, oh my God, everything's constructed, man. No, it's not. From this viewpoint. It's pretty much saying, no, everything is real. It's where that realness comes from. Okay. Social constructionism originated as an attempt to come to terms with the nature of reality. So all the realities that we're in and we live in, and this reality now, this Facebook reality, the idea of social constructionism, and it's a massive field, and I am no means going to cover everything in this. This is a basic introduction to get your sparks going and see how we can maybe compare it, or not compare it, but apply it to autism. Let's see how we get on. Vivian Burr is one of the best writers I've found. She's awesome, and she basically explains social constructionism in a way that it says that our identity originates not from inside the person, but from the social realm. Now, there's a different kind of view, which is social constructivism, which is about identity originating from within the person, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to stick with the whole idea of a construction socially. So it is not a belief system. I think this is really important. So I don't want you to worry. It's just a thinking. It is a way of talking. It is a way of writing. It's actually a beautiful thing if you really get your head around it. Gergen is a really nice speaker. If you type in Kenneth Gergen on YouTube, he's got some talks that he's really good, and I like him a lot. And he says everything that is real for us comes out of a community relationship. It is all about the community that says what a thing is and what it isn't. And then these things that we as humans say what is, then they become tradition, the norm, and the accepted way. Okay, so hope I'm not losing anyone. It's important that I explain as well that it's not, social constructionism doesn't try to say what is or is not true. It doesn't eliminate any perspectives, whereas a religion or science, for example, well, both of these perspectives will tend to try to eliminate things, don't they? Especially when they're declaring a truth on either side. You know, science will say we're true, religion will say we're true. So social construction is not even dealing with any of that. It's not interested in any of that. This is what another thing that Vivian Burr said. Within social constructionism, language is not just a means of transmitting thoughts and feelings, but in fact makes thought possible by constructing concepts. In other words, it is language that makes thoughts and concepts possible, not the other way around. Language predates concepts and provides a means of structuring the way the world is experienced. You all know exactly now what social constructionism is about, don't you? In order for something to exist, right? This is what I want. We're going to start getting into it now. There needs to be an agreement for it to exist, okay? So agreement on where it fits in society, how it is studied, and even what words are used within that context or in that construct. So this is really important for social constructionism, to look at things from this kind of way. Best example I can give you is a £5 note. I did have one, but I don't know where it's gone. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, it's not. Anyway, £5 note. So let's just consider a £5 note. All right. Is it real? Well, yeah, of course it is. You can hold it, you can use it, you can exchange it. But here's the key. It only has value as a result of the community that says how much it is valued, or culture, or people that are using it. You can't find out how much it is by opening it up, for example, or viewing it through a microscope. What you have to do is look at the social relations it depends on for its value. So if we went back in time, for example, to a culture who didn't use money, this £5 note with all its beautiful design, if it's irrelevant, it would be of no value at all, because it's not socially accepted as being so. So it'd be a useless piece of paper. So it doesn't mean it's not real. It is real, okay? But it's the whole social construct around it. So that's why I started off by saying social construction isn't about, hey man, everything's not real. It isn't that. Because things are real. Of course they are. But it's whose real they are. Now, I'm going to get into autism. I'm going to give it a little kind of... we're going to go for a little timeline. I might have missed a few things, so forgive me, you expert autism people out there. But I want to kind of start from where the construct of autism, so where the terminologies, where the words began, where it first appeared in the world, right? So take the construct of autism. It began in 1908, where it was used, the word autism was used to describe a subset of schizophrenic patients who were especially withdrawn and self-absorbed. Then in 1943, we look at Kanner. We all know about Kanner. He basically described 11 children who were highly intelligent. Now, I've highlighted the social constructs in black, okay, because these are the beginning of a social construct. So in 1908, autism, the word, the actual thing, autism word appeared, okay? Then Kanner talked about a powerful desire for aloneness. So the words powerful, desire, and then an obsessive insistence on persistent sameness. And then he later named their condition early infantile autism. Now, we don't hear early infantile autism used much now. And there are reasons why that, because of the social construct and the development of it. And then in 1944, that's when Asperger's comes around. And he talks about milder form of autism known as Asperger's syndrome. So as you can see here, just within this spell of, I don't know, however many years, 40 odd years, it's beginning to form itself. So remember what I said about community and how something has to develop and become a truth before it can become a reality. Okay, so autism is starting to form itself, a little bit like a caterpillar, turning into a butterfly. I don't know what I'm on about. 1967. So we see there that the term refrigerator mother becomes apparent or into existence. My mum was called a refrigerator mother. Now we know that it isn't. And basically all it meant was that it's the mother's fault, your mother's fault that your child is autistic. Obviously it's a load of rubbish. But as you can see, that's where the construct of that came. Now, you know when I showed you about how it has to be accepted for it to become a social construct. It has to be agreed. As we now know, in this world, the social construct of autism, you don't hear refrigerator mothers, because as a community, as where autism sits, we said no. We've disregarded that as a reality. It's not a reality anymore. So then look at 1967. Autism then is established pretty much as a term, and it's based there in the group of schizophrenia. Now, schizophrenia. I did a lot in my psychology years in schizophrenia because it intrigued me. Because here's the thing about schizophrenia. Okay, it doesn't exist as a thing. It's a group of things, and they don't really know what it is. So if you look at the DSM-5, for example, and you list the criteria, it's ginormous. And the bottom line is because we don't really know. It's all just grouped into this one group of conditions, and it's a social construct. I'm not saying it's not real. And again, social constructionism doesn't say things are or are not. It's generally where it all comes from. Okay, so in 1967, they put autism within there. And around about the 60s, that's when, I don't know if any of you have tuned into the stuff with Lovaas, where he used to, a little boy called Billy. Well, that's where this came, because they saw autistic children as being schizophrenic. So then in the 70s, the lovely Lorna Wing and her group, they began to kind of define autism a little bit more positively, remove it away from this schizophrenic kind of thing, because schizophrenia is still classed as a mental illness, isn't it? Whereas autism was more coming into the disability world, or the social construct of that, or however you want to view it. And that's where the triad of impairments first became a thing. All right, so people started thinking and using those words. Then in the 1977, research on twins, they found that genetics and biological differences. Now this is key, because science is getting more into the world of autism now and starting to think, okay, something's it's not that there's anything wrong, it just means that it's coming from those areas. And we still don't know what autism is. We know that it, from a social construct point of view, we can say there's these things, but as you'll see now, it's so different to when it first came out. And here we go. So, 1980, infantile autism. Okay, that's where that kind of started to develop its words or its terminologies. Is listed in the DSM, the first one, and again, it's still under the child schizophrenia kind of category. But then in 87, then it replaces it with autism disorder. Now, again, some people don't like the word disorder. There are so many words, aren't there, around autism, and I'm not going to get into that tonight about whether, you know yourself. There's loads of terminologies, isn't there? And then in 1988, the movie Rain Man is released, and it was highlighted quite a lot in the media, in academic articles, where basically that, and one person here says it's very important for raising public awareness of the disorder. But here's the thing, here's what Rain Man did. It just confused everyone even more, because, not all children can be as amazing as he was. And I think it caused a lot more confusion, and I know the Autism West Midlands did a lot of work around it's not just Rain Man. So although the social construct of autism started to then filter into the community, the wider communities, it was still kind of misunderstood, I guess, and again, this is my social constructionist head on here. All through this is all about social constructionism, so I'm kind of just going with that flow. 1991, mainly in America, schools began to identify so autism was identified in schools, which is a good thing. I was at school by then, hence why I never got diagnosed when I was a kid. 1993, again, this was the UK, they started to look at mainstreams, but again, they were focusing on Asperger syndrome, which of course, in the discourse of the social construct of autism, a social constructionist would say, well, yeah, or Asperger's is developing, it's becoming a truth, isn't it? It's becoming a thing that the community are accepting. Hence, in 1994, at the bottom, it's added to the DSM. Right. And jump into 2013, the DSM-5 folds all categories of the condition into one umbrella. Asperger's syndrome, it's no longer considered a separate condition. Everything's autism spectrum disorder. 2018, I'll talk about that in a bit. So what's happened? So from 1908, right? If you look at it from this natural forming social construct of what autism is, right? They thought it was something in 1908, and then jump all the way to 2013. They thought, oh, there's this milder thing. Oh, no, there's not that now. Now it's just autism. And then we've got the PDA thing coming up, haven't we? That's another social construct. And whether the community accept that or not, that's down to what will happen. And then it's all determined by whether there's an agreement or not, I guess. But let's go back to this. This is interesting, this is. And I don't know, I was thinking today, I was wondering if this was something that was growing with Hans Asperger's, because he provoked a big debate here, because he assisted in the euthanasia program in the Nazi regime. Now, I'm not even getting into that, but it provoked a big debate here. And as you can see, I've got an arrow here with this is the community. So who are the community here? The autistic people and their family members. We have a lot of power, guys. Don't feel discouraged. Particularly those who identify with the term Asperger's. It promoted a big debate because whether they wanted to agree with it or whether they wanted to be known as it, or, there's kind of lots of different kind of views on that. Now, and breathe. It's quite a heavy one today. It's going to be good next week. I'm going a bit light-hearted next week. Well, no, I'm not. I say that every week, don't I? I'm going to have a look at some questions now, because you're all on here. You're all chatting amongst yourself, and you never actually speak to me. Let's have a look. Hey, Fiona. Yes, feeling better. Thank you. I do feel better. My tooth hurts a little bit, but it's all good. Oh, okay. Kira's dumped me for the football. I hate football, but fair play. Hey Sylvia, how you doing? Sue saying she's getting an echo. That's probably because you got nothing between your ears. Only joking, Sue. Let me just put my thing up. Hold on. Oh, woo. Right, the echo may go now. Who knows? Let me know if it goes. Rachel's having laptop issues. Rachel, come on. It's all that wild swimming that you're doing. That's what that is. And Holly's on. Yeah, Holly, go and sort them out, will you? Let's have a look at... Hey, Sarah, how are you? School Senko told me my son's meltdowns and aggression are my fault as I've not given him any boundaries. Yeah, I know. Well, you're not a refrigerator mother. And I'm sorry that... Because that's really sad, isn't it? And, a meltdown is not a parent's fault. I can pretty much say that 100%. I don't even have to meet your child. It's not your fault, okay? And the aggression most likely is coming from an anxious place, and you probably know this. And I don't know, Senko shouldn't really be saying that, but hey ho, I'm sorry you had to hear that. Jane's on. Hello, Jane. Who's that handsome man you've got there? Look at that. Lily has read your comment and said, that's made me angry. What kind of an idiot would say that? She's only 9. Go on, Lily. She says the Senko should get a detention. Yeah. Senko should get a detention. Right. Sarah Jane's not getting an echo. It's definitely you. Oh, hey, Soph. Well, it's a bit of a different world here, but hello. I hope you managed to stay for a little bit. I hope I don't bore you too much. This is the eCam thing that I've told you about. It's different, isn't it? But anyway, getting back into the world of autism. Sarah Jane, sorry I missed it earlier. All good, thank you. Glad Tooth is better. Just messaged you, we were talking money. Yeah, that's all good. Lisa, hello. I watched a fab session by Autism West Midlands today on eating issues. Do you do any talks on this? I can do. I'm here every week, Lisa. It's become a bit of a special interest for me now. I absolutely love this. So yes, maybe we'll do some on eating. Maybe we'll just eat pizza. No, I'm only being silly. Yes, of course, I'll have a look into it. Do you know what, Lisa? If you message me and give me some pointers on what your issues are, and yes, I'll look into it for you. Right then, so Heather, I can just see you. I've lost my thing here. I was told there was nothing wrong with my daughter for years, and the school has now She has 7. She now has 7 diagnoses. Oh my gosh. I hope she's okay. I hope you're okay. Tell her I said hello. Right. So let's get back into it. The social constructionism. How can we apply social constructionism to autism? I thought this is quite interesting. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, really, because you know, I want to be able to apply everything I do in these sessions for you to go away and apply them yourself for, you know, with your kids and just kind of give you something to think about. Hey Tracy. Hey Rowan. Rowan's watching today. How you doing, dude? I hope you're okay. Thought I'd wave at you. Sue, first time watching. Got to give you a heads up. Hello Sue, how are you? So thank you. It's not as academic and as intense as this usually. I just ramble on, usually, Sue, and we talk about all things that are autism. Sylvia, can you do something on eating and interoception? Yep, I think we're going to get onto that probably in a couple of weeks. Right then, so here's the first thing then. So I've got 5 things that how you can apply social constructionism to autism if you want. Right. Think differently about learning. Now, if you look here, there's 2 truths, right? There's truth 1 and there's truth 2. And on the truth 1, it is basically, remember we're talking about communities, we're talking about people saying what is and what isn't, okay? So for years and years and years, communities of educators, and today a lot are still around, they say that writing with a pen and paper is the true way to learn to write. So it's their true way. Now, our children, my daughter, my son, a lot of autistic kids that I work with, they're saying to us, our true way is to type on an iPad or a keypad or to use cool emojis. Our truth is not wanting to write in my book or a book. So that's their truth. Now, here's the thing, right? Thinking differently, how are you going to help a child who has their truth? So their truth is, well, I'm not, you know, these kids that get upset because they don't want to write in class or they don't want to sit there and go for a boring workbook. It's for that very reason. Their brain is saying, what's this? I don't want to do this. And obviously with the autism part of it, it's kind of like, well, give me an iPad. And unfortunately, a lot of educators think, oh my God, give them an iPad. That's not teaching them anything. But it is. And I've got an example. And here's what I'm going to show you now. And I'm very proud of this because guess what, right? Me and Jane are both teachers. And we've tried to teach Lily during lockdown, but it doesn't work. And I'm not bothered because the other day, bless her, well, this is actually this week's work. Here's the thing, right? I talk about vicarious learning, which is literally, just type it into Google, vicarious learning. Children learn without being taught. Okay, they can learn things, and my daughter is a perfect example of this. And here are some things that she's done. I haven't taught her anything, or Jane, right? And she'll just come running down from her room and she'll say, look at this, Dad. Right, can you see that? So here is a step-by-step guide how to draw a cat. How awesome's that? Look at that. From step 1 all the way through. She's what's going on there? A lot of learning, a lot of thinking. But it doesn't stop there. Look at this. This blows my mind. Right, so Lily, I've got to find your picture. It's gone off. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, where's the picture things? Lily, look, she's got a blooming... There it is. Got to show you this, guys, because this is just amazing. So she starts drawing these things, and we're like just, letting her get on with it. Thinking, oh, she's just on her iPad. She's not doing anything. Look at this. Oh, let me get it in focus. Can you see that? How amazing is that? It's like a 3D A. Can you see it? She taught herself. We didn't even do anything. She just picked it up. And now she's got into all this perspective drawing stuff. Guys, that's encouraging for all you lot out there who are stressing. Oh my God, she won't do the work or he won't do the work. I'm being sent home from the school. Try it. But if they don't want to do it, don't get into a battle with them. I had a phone call with the mum this week about, she was really worried about school work. And here's the thing. We've got to really be careful about in this time about causing additional anxieties. If work, they don't want to do it, try it. If they don't want to do it, then back away and just tell the school they don't want to do it. Because what's the point of getting into a massive stress and argument with your kids? Because what that's doing is creating more anxiety. And guess what happened in September? They won't want to go back. So the more fun you can give, the more freedom you can give them, the more they learn. And look at this. This is the last one. Super. Love this, right? Okay, so can you see it? Hold on. Going back there. There you go. Look, watch. You open it up. And it's like a card. How cool is that? She just went, Dad, look at this. And she's super proud of herself. And here's the thing that I noticed about you. And I'll start talking about it now, Lily, because I know it does your head in. I love the way has a big smile on her face. And you know, I've talked about it in the past, intrinsic motivation. That's inside. A lot of our autistic kids, they were motivated inside, and all we've got to do is get in there with them and stop trying to give them this external stuff. It's upside down, Lily's put. There you go. It's upside down. Do it the right way. Is that the right way? It's so cool though. Oh, there you go. See? So the hand, you open the box, boo, and it's a little puppy. It's so good. I love it. So that's going to be our new birthday presents and Christmas cards for everyone. Clever girl, Sylvia's put. Fiona, my little girl would love the step-by-step how to draw a cat. She's cat mad. We are both. What I'll probably do, Fiona, is I'll try and screenshot it and send it you. Jane, hello. How are you? How do you get your family to understand autism when they are more autistic than my son? When they say my son's struggles are normal, not because of any title. Their words, not mine. They will not accept struggles as they had to deal with the same struggles. So why should my son have any special treatment? See, I know that's there's a lot in there, isn't there? And Jen, I'm sorry that you've got that struggle. I think it's a matter of when family members find it difficult. I think it's just a matter of their truth, your truth, and as I'm talking about in this, it's just about trying to work out how can our truths fit together without too much, issue and problems. And the key, really, I'd be trying to encourage your families to say it's about my child, it's about this, my boy, it's about my son. Sorry, Jane. I really hope it eases off for you. So think differently about learning, right? And take this to schools, guys. Say to them, look, if a kid doesn't want to write at school, give them an iPad. Do you know, it really doesn't matter, because guess what? You can do the same things on an iPad and get the same learning objectives and outcomes on an iPad than you can writing on a boring piece of paper. I could be wrong, but no, I don't think I am. Anyway, number 2, problems are social constructs. Now, this is really, 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 really good. I've listed a few here. Let me just read on the one side. Deconstruct the problem, right? So thinking differently about a problem, you're deconstructing it. And the great thing about social constructionism is you can determine your own truths, can't you? So I've listed a few things here that I've got no issues with. You might, and that's okay. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like this: swearing, is it really bad behaviour? Who says certain words are offensive and others are not? And that's the thing. It's kind of trying to think differently about it. Eating at the table. I can't eat at a table. There's nothing wrong with it. And I know families that will try so desperately to get their children to eat at a table. Don't worry about it, because it is their truth. If they don't want to sit and eat and they want to go in their room, they're not being unruly teenagers. They are processing their world the way they can. Number 3, say please and thank you. Why do we have to say please and thank you? Especially in the autism world. I want that. That's fine. They're asking for it, aren't they? And now, some of you might disagree and agree, but I've got no issue. Why does it have to feel better when someone says please and thank you? It's polite. Who says it's polite? It's a social construct, isn't it? The community many, many years ago have said, yep, saying please and thank you is appropriate. Now, our children, it's hard enough for them to ask for anything. So when they ask for it, that's enough. If they forget the please and thank you, don't worry about it. Right then. So last one, sitting on the floor. Big issue. Oh, they're not allowed to sit on floors. Why is it so wrong? If a child doesn't choose to sit on a chair, that's okay, isn't it? It's their truth. Maybe what you could do, you can go into schools in September or whenever, go, it's their truth. Let them have their truth. We'll all walk around going, it's their truth. I'm joking. Right, number 3, a different way of being social. Right. To be social, I want us to really, I want us to really think about this, right? What does it mean to be social? Because we're told constantly social disability. I talk about it all the time. That's the area, isn't it? Socialness. And I still say it is. But from a social constructionist point of view, right? To be social is an agreed truth, isn't it? Being social comes from traditions, agreed acts, discourse that fits within the truth. For example, it's good to use eye contact. It's good to smile when someone says hello. It's good to say hello and to not put your elbows on the table. This is only a reality within the tradition of socialness. I hope that makes sense. It is generated reality within this social truth. Outside of this, there's no value of being social. Our children exist outside of these traditions, outside of these practices. A child who chooses to be alone, for example, to not speak to people in the playground, well, that's their truth. This is what is right for them, right? So here's my question. Are autistic people socially disabled then? They are only disabled in the socially constructed truth. I hope this makes sense. So you've got here a construction of socialness, what it means to be social. And then there's these people, me included, wandering around, not getting involved in this. So then these people go, oh, well, they're socially disabled then. Don't know. Maybe we're not. My God, maybe we're not. No, I'm joking. Number 4, it is their truth. This is really key. I love this. Love. I love Gergen. He's like hey man, it's just all mellow. Now, perhaps thinking this way, so thinking that everyone has their own truth, right? We can take us somewhere we haven't been before. Seeing individuals as separate, to see individuals not as a community or part of a community, we would honour them more, care for them more, and we would honour their truth. So it's about us honouring everybody's truths. So Lily, for example, this is a really good example of this. Socialness, right? I get it all the time. I want my child to be social. How do I get my child to be social? How can you help this child to be socialised in the playground? I had a conversation today this week about someone who won't wash, and he needs to wash, and so but I always try and step back and say, well, why does he need to wash? If he doesn't want to wash, what have you asked him? And they hadn't. I'll need to find that out. But it's always beginning and stepping away. It's always the big A for me. Acceptance. Always about acceptance. And why does that kid need to play in the playground? Why does that kid need to go to the shops with you? Or why does that kid need to socialise in that party where they just don't want to? I hope this is helping you guys. I like this kind of stuff. Millie. Hello, Millie. This is a long one. I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to put this up. Oh, I love that picture. I found this out once. I pulled my son out of school. The things he comes to me with never fails to amaze that he's just taught himself. It's taken 12 months out of school for him to be enjoying learning again, or to not be scared of it. So crazy, isn't it? He has just started writing after refusal for years. He was problematic to the education system as he's a self-directed learner. That means he's amazing, doesn't it? How can it be problematic? I never get that. I never get these independent kids and people just struggle with them. So didn't want to play their games. He and his behaviour is a problem, not to them. Oh, not them. Yeah, I totally agree. Lol. We learn anywhere. Lying, sitting, up, beds, tables, floors. Awesome. I like that, Millie. Thank you so much for that. Julie, is that Julie? Are you doing that because you accept me 100%? Thank you, Lisa. Great message. Sarah, sorry your internet keeps freezing. We'll have to watch back later. Please do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on YouTube because I keep having a delay when I play my the ones back after this, so these will all go to YouTube, so I'll probably delete them and then stick them on YouTube so you can watch it. Rachel, hey Rach, how you doing? Some teacher, you're back then, as Holly fix your computer. Some teachers on Twitter are talking about kids not wanting to go back. I said I don't blame them, they learn in their own way. Yeah, well, hello, look at Holly. She's learned more homeschooling than anyone else will ever teach her, so there you go. Tell her I said that. Holly, totally amazing. Totally agree with everything you're saying. We need to look after our children's mental health at this time. Yes, Helen, and I love your cool hair. Is that one of them? See, there's a social construct. There you go. See, remember the, you know, them, what they're called? What are they called? Avatars. And we just follow it, don't we? Like sheep. Oh, I'm going to do an avatar. It's a social construct, isn't it? You could even take this cup and I could say, we're going to worship this cup and it will become a god. You could do it. And you could take it to a church and worship the coffee of cup. That's how things work. That's how things work. Right then. So last one, freedom to be creative. Here's such a beautiful thing. And I know a lot of you amazing parents do anyway. You create your new reality. If you have a thinking of, hold on, turning it off, I'll speak and then I'll put it back on. So if you can have a view of everything socially constructed, so we can construct anything we want. How freeing is that? It's amazing. And this is what this is basically. I'm just going to read it. You can create your new reality for your kid and your family. You are free to create a reality of acceptance, and it's okay. It's not their fault. They don't have to change, and they're okay just as they are. Socializing. Think differently. A child chooses to stay in their room. You speak to them. This is an example, right? So a child chooses to stay in their room all day. You speak to them through the door briefly. That's socializing. The child is socializing. You create your own socializing. Think about it. So you don't speak to your child all day and you knock the door and they go, hello, and you shut the door. Give them their beans on toast. They've socialized. So it's down to you then as the parent to think, wow, my child's socialising. Whereas another parent might go, oh my God, they've got to sit in there and we've got to watch EastEnders and they've got to get them to teach them to cook and I've got to teach them to get dressed. No, you don't. You don't at all, because it stresses them out. I've put here a house party. I just wanted to share about a house party. Before I do that, let me just have a look at if I've missed any. Hello, Anne. How are you doing? We need a range of social spaces to include difference and diversity, not just, yeah. Wouldn't that be an amazing idea? Julie, Key has learned so many life skills and he's done some amazing Macathon for me. Thank you very much, legend. Whilst we have been off, he can now use an iron to iron jeans, a life skill. Wow. What an amazing person he is. Well, you know I love him. Jude has totally changed my world, taught me things I didn't know about the world and myself, changed my outlook. Ah, that's really, really nice. Well done, Fiona. Well done, Jude. I shouldn't put this on because I know Lily's going to be like, that's me. Roblox, my son's perfect socialising. Yeah, there you go. Sylvie's nailed it. I'm social on here. So guess what, guys? We haven't got social disabilities. We are social. Right, so party. Okay, so Jane is awesome at doing parties, okay? And we used to have quite a few house parties. We like house parties because we can control them. And one of the things that we know underneath everything is I get overwhelmed. For those of you who know me closely, I get very overwhelmed. And when I first met Jane, she found this out about me. And one of her barbecue parties, end of term it was, summer holidays, big party, loads of food. And I would just vanish and I'd go to sleep. I would have a shutdown at parties. I still do now. And I just fell asleep, and Jane understood it because we talked about it, and I'd socialised as much as I could and hung out, and I can't explain it. This thing just comes over me and it just all gets too much, and I'll either go and stand in a corner and just be on my own, drink as much as I can, and if that doesn't work, I'll go to sleep, and I ended up going to sleep. And then my son, who's only probably 7 at that time, his thing was he wants to be social, whatever that is, and he decided to climb on everyone's cars because he's at a height and level of socialness. It's too much for him, but he wanted to be there because he loves people. He's a good kid. But what happened to Jane was people were bringing their truths and saying, well, that's not right. Where's Aaron? Why is Cameron doing that? There wasn't like big arguments or anything, but there was just the people were bothered by us, and we weren't doing anything. Yeah, okay, Cameron shouldn't have stood on people's cars and I shouldn't have gone to sleep, but that's who we are. And Jane's still with us today. So there you go. Hats off to Jane. Yeah, so parties, it's kind of like I'm socialising my way and Cameron's socialising his way and you socialise your way. And that's the idea of social constructionism. There is no one truth, there's many truths. Ta-da! Finished. So, shall I have some questions? Give me some questions, guys. Come on. Question. How many people? 40 people. That's awesome. Thank you, all you 40 people. And what was else? I was going to say something else then. Can't remember what I was going to say. I think I've covered everything. Yep, covered everything. So if you haven't got any questions, then I am going to go because I feel like I've nailed this one. Next week, I said it's going to be really light-hearted and everything and fun. I'm going to talk about depression. So I'm excited about talking about depression because I've probably had the worst week I've had in a long, long time. So I thought, you know what, I've been experiencing it. I'm going to share about it and talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the social construct of depression because for me, social construction would say it's a construct. Now, I feel it in my head, so it does hurt. Oh, here we go. Some questions are coming in now. Can Jane do a little intro and how she copes with an autism? Moving on. I'm not bringing her on here. No, I'm only joking. Jane, I don't know. She's probably, you know what Jane does? She plays her games. I'll ask her, Amy. How does she cope? I don't know. She just leaves me alone for 3 days a week. I generally don't speak to people. Yeah. Thanks for that, Amy. I'll see if Jane comes on. Jane, if you're still on, speak to Amy. Here's some advice. Please, I know a little boy who desperately wants friends. Okay, so here's the thing. Listening to his voice, listening to his truth. Now, I'm all for one that, if a kid wants to walk around on their own, leave them. But if a kid wants to make friends, that's different. So there are things you can do, depending on age. So you can get pally with parents at the school and maybe create kind of subtle house parties, very, very low arousal kind of stuff. Have some barbecues. Just don't invite loads, but just maybe create, pick a kid that you think he'd get my son or my daughter. Is it your son? Oh, no, it might not be yours. Okay, so that's what I'd be saying. So creating some sort of like a party or a situation where friendships will naturally build. So you got the autistic kid here who kind of doesn't really know what to do, and then you've got a child here who isn't autistic, and maybe they'll just connect. Or at the party, ask the parents to have the boy's favourite games on the telly, so he's interested. So then another child will come in, and the child will be able to talk about his favourite things really easy, won't he? And he won't have to have that, oh my God, I've got to wait for someone to talk. And it is difficult because I don't know him. But yeah, does that make sense? That's what I'd be doing. And then in school, tricky one, I'd be talking to a good teacher, someone who gets the autism, most important thing. Gosh, it has to be. And then see if you can get some sort of a mentor or a buddy that can just kind of just subtly introduce themselves to the child. So what I'm trying to say is basically it's not on the boy, it should be on everyone around him. Hope that can trigger something in your mind to help. I'm interested in why Cameron needed to climb. I don't know, when did I say that? Cameron always climbs. Cameron, my son, I love him. He's not on today, he's probably asleep. 21 years of age, right? He's doing the best he's ever done in his life. And there are lots of different reasons for that. And I'm so proud of him. And he says to us the other day, oh, I've started climbing trees now. I love it. He's 21. Goes and climbs trees in parks all on his own. Oblivious to anyone else. I'm so proud of him. Amazing. Anyway, so... lots of questions coming in. I used to get that Paris rules you and she plays to it because if she wanted to go home from somewhere, well, we know, yeah. So this is Sue, everyone. She doesn't always look like that. Ha ha, only joking. Sue's an amazing mom, absolutely awesome, and her daughter is awesome. And I first began working with Paris. I'm not going to talk too much about it. And the school was a nightmare, weren't they, Sue? And I remember being in this meeting and my jaw was dropped at the way they were just putting everything on Sue, everything on Paris. And it's really sad, isn't it? But we know, don't we, Sue, that that's a load of rubbish. So moving on from that. Let's have a look. Millie, let's have a look. It was so nice to hear you speak tonight. You've said what I've thought for a long time without the evidence or knowledge. I'm just a parent. Well, you're never just a parent, are you? I'm just a parent. But I know what you mean. It's nice to know I wasn't completely potty. And there's a valid method to my madness. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with me, Millie. I'm perfectly fine, honestly. No, go on my YouTube channel. There's loads of stuff on there. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. I've got like 40 plays on one video. I'm like that. Nobody cares. I'm joking. Oh, look. Jane has responded. I haven't even read this. So this is Jane's words of wisdom. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I hate to quote Aaron, but it's all about acceptance and remembering when things are tricky that it's not anyone's fault. Also, like Aaron says, we make sure we have our space when we need it. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes, but why? I don't know, Rachel. I'll ask Cameron. Why does Cameron want to climb a tree? Oh, I know why he wants to climb a tree. So basically he says that it helps him. The higher he is, the safer he feels. Hence, we found him on top of our roof once in his pajamas, oblivious to slippy slates and stuff. And my heart was pounding. Couldn't get him down. And he felt happy up there. His anxiety goes when he climbs. Does that answer your question, Rach? Right. Sylvia's got to go. And I think I have too. Goodbye, Sylvia. Next week, depression. Brilliant. Next week, depression. I'm going to like play depressed music and stuff. Oh my God, I'm getting a compliment from Julie here. A really important topic, Aaron. Why have you gone all posh, Julie? I don't know. Right then. I think I'm going to go, guys. It's been awesome. Thank you. And please share when I put it on YouTube. And I'll see you next week. Same time, Wednesday. Bye.